Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this Housing Supervisory Board meeting. I'm Councillor Rosemary Dartnell, Chair of the committee, and I'm obliged to inform you that this meeting is being live streamed and recorded. Could I ask you please to ensure mobile phones are switched off and ensure the volume on your laptop is muted. To ensure members of the committee and any other invited speakers are properly heard by those in the room and online, please use your microphone when asked to speak. This is a meeting held in public, not a public meeting. Can members and officers please introduce themselves each time before they speak so that those listening know who is speaking? I shall now ask members of the committee and officers to introduce themselves.
Harpreet Rayett, Managing Director for Cornelby Developments Limited. Thank you, Chair.
I'm Laura Tyler, Service Director for Commissioning with the Local Authority.
Hi, Laura Fisher, Head of Housing, Resettlement, Independent Living at the Council.
George Holyhead, Councillor for Brown-Cleat.
Councillor John Tandy for the Gate Park Ward.
Councillor Beverly Waite, Ludlow East.
Nigel Lumbey, Councillor for Albright.
Councillor Brian Evans for St Martin's.
Councillor Mark Owen, Oswestry South East.
Shelley Davies, Committee Officer. Jenny Daisley, Strategic Housing and Commissioning Manager, Shropshire Council.
Thank you, everyone. Just a couple of things I want to announce that refer to where we were last time we met. First of all, the briefing we asked for at the previous meeting couldn't be held before this one because of the ongoing training and briefings for new councillors following the election. So you should all have a diary entry for that. I think you would have got it in the last couple of weeks for us to go to CDL, and I think it'd be a really good meeting because we'll have our meeting in the morning, so we'll have a briefing. We can ask whatever questions we want to understand what CDL are about. But then also we'll get to meet with the board members who will be around before their meeting in the afternoons. I think it's a good opportunity to improve everyone's understanding of what CDL is about. And also everyone should have received financial information which we requested at the last meeting. But we just got that a few days ago, and I just wanted to ask please that in future, if we ask for information at a meeting, that we get it within 10 working days of that meeting, so it's more of a follow-on rather than more reading to add to the substantial pile before this meeting takes place. Okay. So apologies for absence. We have apologies for absence from Councillor Harry Hancock Davis, and Councillor Holyhead is substituting. Welcome. Does anyone have any disclosable pecuniary interests? Thank you. The minutes of the last meeting held on the 5th of June. Hopefully everyone's read those and is comfortable with them. Any comments about accuracy? Anything else? Could someone propose? Thank you. Thank you. And a seconder, please. Thank you, John. All those in favour? Great. Thank you. So the minutes are fine. Okay. Thank you. Public question time. We have questions received from Mr. Andrew Skeets and Mr. John Palmer. I'll read Mr. Skeets' question because he was unable to attend. That's if I can find it. Bear with me a second, please. Here we are. Okay. Considering the loss of countryside and habitats caused by new house building, will the Cornelby Developments company, which is council owned, agree to incorporate a Swift brick in all new units? These bricks can match any brick or stone finish and can be made to match any brick or stone size. They are very cost effective. If CDL is unwilling to do this, it will indicate, Mr. Skeets says, that it is restrictive, that CDL is restrictive in its aims of helping wildlife and the natural environment, which I would imagine therefore contradicts a policy of the Shropshire Council. So I'm now going to read the reply, which is: many thanks for your query regarding the provision of swift boxes within our developments. Planning policies MD 12, CS 17 and section 175 of the National Planning Policy Framework provide mandatory guidance to developers for the provision of nesting boxes of varying types for use by starlings, sparrows, house martins, swallows and other small birds, including swifts. Bird boxes are a mandatory requirement for all new build housing, the numbers and locations of which are governed by planning conditions. Cornovi are guided by an ecologist and by Shropshire Council. This approach ensures that CDL aligns with the credit system associated with biodiversity net gain. To date, Cornovi has provided the following within its completed developments. I'm going to cut this a little bit short because Mr. Skeets isn't here and it's quite lengthy, but basically I'll just summarise. So from Frith Close in Monkmore, that's quite difficult to say, 10 artificial nests. All of these are either integrated or external nests, suitable for swift, sparrows, starlings, house martins, swallows and other small birds. So Bridgewater Street, Ellesmere, 10 artificial nests, all for various types of birds. Ifton Green, St Martin's, 10 artificial nests, including 3 swift boxes, 2 for house martins, 2 for wrens, and a generic box, and also a generic predator protected bird box. In addition, Cornovi also provided a bat loft to provide a roosting habitats within the site's public open space. In Glebe Road, Baston Hill, 8 bird boxes of brick. London Road, Phase 1, 17 brick house bird boxes. The proposed development at Shrewsbury Road in Oswestry, minimum of 30 artificial nests, either integrated or external, for a variety of birds, as I've said before. These will be discharged by a detailed planning consent and pre-occupation condition. And then there's graphics that show the different types of bird boxes, which I presume Mr. Skeets will receive and published on the website. Okay, thank you. Mr. Palmer, would you like to step up and ask your question, please?
Thank you, Chair. Shropshire Council's communications team has typically been brilliantly and comprehensively updating the public on the on-track awesome successes of Guildhall Developments Limited's house building programme. How would private limited company CDL's business plan be affected by Shropshire Council declaring a Section 114 notice and the subsequent actions of government commissioners?
Yeah. Thank you for the question. It's a good question. Shropshire Council's communication team has indeed done an excellent job in keeping the public informed about the progress of Cornovi Developments Limited. The Council's wholly owned local housing company, CDL's house building programme, continues to deliver strong progress and public benefit with a business plan that reflects a robust pipeline of developments designed to meet unmet housing need across the county. Shropshire Council has not issued a Section 114 notice. We are still committed to ensuring CDL's business plan is resilient and aligned with any future developments. Should circumstances change, the Council will work with CDL and relevant stakeholders to assess and respond accordingly. Thank you. Very much. So we don't have any member questions, and we're now at item 6, which is the CDL update report for Q1. Please. Over to you, Harpreet.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Our focus at CDL has been moving forward a number of key projects. I will go over some of the highlights within the public report. The
Sorry, I can't hear it. Could I ask that the mic go a little bit nearer? Thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So first of all, we've been working on a number of planning applications. So we've now resubmitted updated our planning application for the urban extension west just off the Welsh Pool Road, which will deliver 283 units. The key delay associated with that planning application was related to ecology surveys and also some work we needed to do in relation to the drainage strategy. So that was submitted in September. We've also recently had planning permission granted for up to 80 new homes in Oswestry, just off the Shrewsbury Road. And again, it's an outline planning consent that's now been granted. The key issue with that planning application, because it had been going on for a number of years, was the consultation with Highways England in relation to access into that site. We've also been focused very much on delivery of our London Road site and pushing forward with sales and a kind of mixed tenure approach. So I'm happy to announce that all the affordable houses are in the process of being transferred into the housing revenue account. We've also recently launched our shared ownership sales product on that site as well, where there's been strong interest. So those are the kind of main activities in relation to on-site activities. We've also been undertaking detailed surveys and defects liability checks on our completed development at Ellesmere and Ifton Heath, and those have recently been completed to make sure that they come out of the defects period. And we've also there's been a massive focus on our revision to the business plan, which has recently been presented to the council as our funder and also to the Star Housing Board, and will be going to the CDL board in October to prepare us for the revision of our business plan for the next financial year, which will see CDL's activity increase in relation to private rented sector and also in relation to affordable and shared ownership properties, where we'd like to work more in collaboration with the local authority. I'm happy at this point to take any questions on the report.
Could I ask now Laura if she'd like to comment?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Yeah, so I just on top of what Harpreet said. So the report is obviously a mandatory report that we've got to produce. Just useful just to highlight a couple of areas where I think it's.
Sorry, yeah, Madam Chair. I can't hear. I've got hearing aids. So probably got a loop system within the system.
Is it difficult?
Yeah.
Is that better? It's right. It's got to be right underneath. Okay, yeah, helpful. Yeah. Right. Okay. Apologies, all. That's right. So obviously, the purpose of the report is to update the Housing Supervisory Board on the progress of the CDL against its approved 10-year plan. So where we've got, so you'll see within the appendix report that we've got quite a much more of a detailed description, which is I think probably where Harpreet went into in terms of some of the areas that that are currently in development. For you, of those of you who were here at the last meeting, we talked about some of those developments, and actually some of those have obviously moved on substantially, which is positive. Just in terms of, if you have read, most of you, I hope, would have read the report, but I think it's just useful just to highlight sections 8 in terms of where we are. So against the 10-year plan, with the aim to deliver the 582 homes over the plan period, we're at the moment, Q1 forecast continues to project those deliveries. We've got completed schemes. Again, I'm probably repeating what Harpreet has just said. But from the current live completed schemes, we will deliver a total of 249 units, of which 133 will be for market sale, 68 will be for affordable tenure, and 48 will be for private rent. CDL aims to deliver 81 private rented homes over the plan period, and 22 of which will be on that London Road development that Harpreet's really obviously also alluded to. I think what's also important as part of, and certainly as part of where the council wants to move and to support some of our contracts is around that social value element. So where you see on the additional information at 9.1, you know, CDL, it's meeting targets set by the board of directors to invest in local contractors and subcontractors. But also really importantly for us is around the employment and training opportunities. And looking at apprenticeship. So apprenticeship opportunities provided across all of the sites, with 6 to 16 apprentices supported per site, and also the engagement with local schools and colleges through sites and also through work experience as well. So it's an area we want to develop, and it's an area we want to work with CDL to do more of, and as well as some of our wider contracts as well. The performance is continued to be monitored through through various mechanisms, through meetings that we've got within the local authority as well. So the report really is just asking the housing supervised members today just to acknowledge the receipt of the report and the Appendix A. Any questions?
Thank you, Laura. So, any questions, committee? John?
Yeah. The question I want to ask is, you say you're using local companies, but Martin Wilson Homes has got quite a lot of the houses that they actually build the homes, don't they? For who you say using local companies to actually build these houses, but is it Martin Wilson Homes that does most of it?
We've never worked with the Martin Williams Homes.
Which isn't that the one that you're having in my ward, which is?
I mean the West Surrey
one?
Yeah.
No.
Something.
No. We've not chosen a preferred contractor at this point in relation to the Sue West development. So the companies we have worked with on our existing sites are McPhillips, who are Shropshire based, Morris Properties as well, and SJ Roberts. So every single contractor we have used is Shropshire based. And what we also do is record the subcontractors as well in terms of the selection of additional contractors. That has not been finalised at this point. That's the reassurance I can give you. On top of that, even if we select a contractor out of area, we also look at the supply chain. So we would look to encourage, on the basis it delivers value and best value, to look at using local contractors, local subcontractors on those sites as well. However, there are some specialist contractors, I'm thinking groundworks as an example, where you want to get the right ground workers, where we do have to tend to go outside Shropshire, but we have tried as much as possible to keep that within area.
Anyone else? Nigel?
Yes, thank you, Chair. If I can just have clarification from either Harpit or Laura regarding what it is that you're working on, that you intend presenting to Shropshire Council and Star Housing in October. Is that the revised business plan?
That is correct. So what we have done is we have looked at the aims and objectives of Quay Developments Limited in terms of our future pipeline. What we've also done is look at the housing revenue account and the money that's available within there for borrowing for new development, and if we can actually push that up in relation to the cap that's in relation to the borrowing cap that has been reduced within the housing revenue account. We've overlaid that with some of the data that's come through the Housing Lynn report, which Jenny and her team have undertaken around specialist accommodation as an example and housing need from the waiting list. What we've done is come forward with a comprehensive plan which would see all the organisation, Star Housing, CDL and the local authority working in a more strategic way by using the funds that are currently available to deliver more homes and deliver more homes on regeneration sites where there's demand. That's the work that we've been undertaking in the background. So it's been quite comprehensive. You know, we've got named schemes within the revised plan, type of homes that would be delivered and costs associated with those as well. So now what we're doing is getting that tested, both from a regulatory perspective and also a legal perspective and a tax perspective, because we don't want to create an issue, because when you've got a local housing company, the tax regime is very different to if you're a normal private limited company. mainly because the status of the local authority is it doesn't pay tax, but it does pay corporation tax through the Localism Act. So there's work ongoing in the technical side now. However, the outline of the plan, the way in which it forms and the way in which you can move forward is the work that's been undertaken. It's been endorsed by the Star Housing Board because they see the strategic advantages of better working together. And now it's important it gets endorsed by the CDL Board, and that technical review is completed in the background. The reassurance I can give everybody in terms of the technical review, we're not reinventing the wheel. Other local authorities have worked in this way and worked very successfully.
Yeah, of course.
This was actually my main question. All I wanted was a yes. And my main question is, I think through paperwork, this board was suggested that would come before us in September. And it now appears, and I accept why it wasn't ready for September, but it's going to Shropshire Council, Star Housing and everybody else. And then we won't see it, I presume, till the next housing board. So we're the last to know. We're the least important.
I don't think you're the least important. First of all, we need sign off from officers before we can bring it to this board. I think that's the key, really, because the council will look at this paper in a different way than maybe we would look at it. From a Star Housing and CDL perspective, they will look at the legal and governance arrangements. The reassurance I would like to give to this board is that the work has been completed, and at the away day, I'm very happy to do a presentation, the same that we gave to the Star board, and we will be giving to the CDL board because you will be joining us in the morning. So I'm very happy to do that. But I caveat that some of the technical work may not have been completed at that point, but we can talk to you about where we're up to in terms of that technical kind of work in the background. You're not the least important. That's the reassurance I want to give you.
Can I just come in as well? And I think that is the role of your board, is to check that we've done these things and that we have gone through that governance process and sense check some of this as well. So that's the challenge that you will have to give us as well as part of your role. So, you know, and we'll welcome that. But as Harpreet said, some of it may not be done by that point, but we'll be open and honest in terms of where we are and, you know, with the business plan. But you'll see it. It still won't be a final, but you'll see it in its draft format at that point. But we can then talk you through where that's been and the discussions and the inputs that's been part of that, so you get a fuller understanding of that.
Anyone else? Any questions? Okay. Does this need to be voted on? I can't remember. Does it need to be voted on? No,
It's not a decision, it's just.
yeah. Okay. So basically, we at this point we just accept the report and move on to the next item, unless anyone has any worries, which I assume they don't. Okay, so item 7 is Lumby. Yeah, Nigel. Sorry.
It was only a little minor thing, but within the quarterly monitoring report, item 2.3, which is the tenure chart, approval schemes, and 2.5, the tenure chart, forecasted plans, they actually swapped round the affordable housing colour from light blue to dark blue, and it took me ages to work that out. Now, the two charts have been done separate, so that they've automatically chose the colours, but I think they ought to be the same colours.
Noted, and we'll get that changed because it's confusing now that you've pointed it out. So we'll I'll feed that back to the team and we'll get that changed.
That's a good point. We can expect more of that from Councillor Lumby, because I've worked with him on audit committee.
I have another one as well. Sorry, I am forensic. So my question, I am new to this board. 2.7, 31% of the housing is 4 or 5 bedroom houses. I understand developers have to have big houses in order to make it feasible. But the graphs, the figures that you then show of affordable houses doesn't actually then give the affordable house sizes. So I've got no idea as to whether the affordable houses are all 1 bedroom houses, 2 bedroom houses, or 3 bedroom houses, or in fact maybe 4, because I'm sure there's a shortage of larger houses as well to people who can't afford but have got big families. Thank you.
What I will do is I will send a breakdown of all the affordable houses we've delivered to date. What I can tell you is there is a mix, and also by type of property, whether it's bungalows, apartments or houses, and I'll get that circulated after the meeting. In terms of 4-bedroom houses, you're completely right. There is a high need for more 4-bedroom houses, especially that's come through Home Point recently. And it's a project that we're working on with the local authority now, so we recognise that demand. So we will come back to you with a breakdown, but also it's something that's representative in terms of some of the work that we're looking to do in the future as well within the revised business plan.
I think it's really important to say that if there is anything else you want in this report, just that it's your reports, tell us, and if we've missed anything, because we can easily. So it's a really good point you made around, what is it telling us? We need to make sure that we understand it and it's got all the information. So, we're really happy to receive that feedback and to get that into the report. And we work across, don't we, to say, well, actually not sure if I understand that, and we might need to change it. So thank you for that feedback. It's helpful.
Yes, of course.
I knew this. So 3.1 talks about affordable houses sold to Connexus Housing Group. I just wondered how that actually then gets filtered down to residents. And then it also talks about affordable houses transferred to the local authority, but aren't they really transferred to Star Housing or another one? Or is it just the term you use? Thank you.
So if I come in there, the homes that went to Connexus was very early on within our journey, and our preferences, because we get asked by Laura, Jenny, Laura again to say, can you build these type of houses, because we've got high demand and we work in partnership with the local authority, because Star Housing manages the local authority's housing stock. There's still the local authority's housing stock. So our preference, and this will always be our preference, is to build houses that we know we've got acute need for, whether that's associated with homelessness, whether that's associated with social care or children's care. That's always where we want to go. The Ifton Heath development, and it's we work with our partners at Connexus, and they did a great job with us. But again, those houses were things we identified within the local community, which we needed as a local authority. So in future, we are looking to position all homes within the housing revenue account on the basis it's affordable and provides good value. So I think that is that's an outlier, and we wouldn't want that to happen again because of the demands that we see within the housing list and how we're responding to the request from the local authority.
Yes, right.
Just like to say, I was quite taken with the help to own product. Quite taken with that idea last time we spoke about that. I was wondering about how you're monitoring the uptake on that, and whether there are any plans to expand it beyond London Road.
I would love to. So we've launched it. We have had 6 applications. I think the first person's moving in next week. We're just waiting for a confirmation of that. The issue for us with Help to Own, and we've recently been nominated for an award as well through the Tech Awards. It's seen as a technology product rather than a home ownership product. I don't know what that is, because it is what it is. I think it's to do with the banking and the finance element and the system that's been used. So we think it's a great product. We have had a lot of people come to us, visit our show homes, and they're telling us a very similar story, which is we can afford the rent. We can, for shared ownership, we can afford the rent, and also the mortgage. Where we struggle is deposits, and deposits are really hard at the moment. And if you're a single person, it's even more difficult in the current environment. So for us, we would really like to expand that out. But one of the key issues for us, because of the way in which we're financially structured, is that we have a rolling credit facility. So we're always keeping an eye on making sure we're getting enough money coming in to pay back the loan that we currently have for any of our developments. So for me, Help to Own is one of those great products I would like to continue moving forward. And I think we've got a number of homes that we've identified for that, but we will need to make sure the business plan can take the stress off that. So I think Help to Own, all our Help to Own homes, which were only released in July on London Road, all 10 will probably be taken up by the end of October, and so we then need to revisit what we then do. And again, we've had a massive uptake for shared ownership as well. So we've got on London Road, I think 8 shared ownership properties from memory. Today, I was emailed this morning, I think we're close to 64 inquiries. And obviously we have a local connection criteria for shared ownership to, to people within the area. But again, we're really keen to look to expand that product for the same reason. So, what we're finding is people want to get on the housing ladder. There's a recognition, sometimes it's a bit more difficult nowadays to get into affordable housing. And these two products give people who potentially might find it a bit more difficult to get onto, home ownership or to secure their own home, a different avenue in. And I think that's the fundamental thing with this company. It was always set up to help people who want to get into home ownership or different tenures, and looking at different innovative ways for us to achieve that. And I think the revised business plan really puts that at its centre. So long answer, but a great success. I think that's what I'd like to say about it.
Can I just ask on that, please, Harpreet? I think in the same way that it was talked about whether the affordable homes, what size of homes are those? It would be good to understand where we're in that same sense, where we're putting that help to buy help as well in the future.
Yeah, so help to own. The majority of our homes there are 2 and 3 bed, but we've also got some limited 4 beds because we've recently had an inquiry. In terms of shared ownership, again, it's 2 and 3 beds. That's where we see the demand. In terms of the size of the homes, all of our homes are tenure blind. So what that means is they all meet national defined space standards. So I appreciate some of the feedback we've had previously is that you get these 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom homes and they're the small, there's not the size that you would probably expect and makes them unsustainable. But all the homes we build meet national defined space standards as outlined by Homes England. So that's the reassurance I can give everybody in this meeting today.
Any other questions? Yes.
Just one more about my favourite subject. I'm just wondering if you with help to own, if you've done what the risks and limitations are on that, because obviously the financial legal planning could have a big knock. And I'm just wondering they could prevent a wider rollout, and we want to try and do that throughout Shropshire. And I just wonder what risks and limitations you see on that.
There's so with this product, the main risk for us is around somebody moving into the property and there's a change of circumstances because everyone's circumstances change over a 3-year period. So we're very kind of stringent in relation to the checks that we undertake on the individuals, more so than we would be potentially under a home ownership or even under PRS, because we're looking at income and how stable that income is. What we will also do is look at things such as, credit histories as well, and can kind of consider that and kind of understand that in more detail. The other big risk for us as well is if we don't get the kind of capital receipts from the sale of the property after 3 years. So the only products we are releasing for help to own are ones that are already identified for private rented sector housing. So make sure that what we're not doing is homes we've identified to repay our main loan are not put at risk in terms of market sale products. So they are the things that we're doing from a financial perspective and also from a consumer perspective as well. The final part is around the kind of availability of mortgages related to this product, and we've got specialist mortgage advice through our partners at Kettle to support us in that. And then what we've also got is we all do it, 3 years is a long time, is how do you get people to kind of work with us on that journey? And Kettle do a lot of that with us through nudge. They do nudge that, but you've now got 24 months. This is how much you've got to save. This is the balance that's outstanding for your deposit. Interest rates have gone down. Interest rates have gone up. These are the more. So we're constantly engaging with them about that financial outcome at the end of that journey, because we've all been tempted. We've saved money and then we've seen a holiday or something we want, and then we've done that and say we can save on a later date. So there is a lot of work done in that arena through the work we've done with Kettle, which we found really advantageous.
Yes, following on that then, so if I'm hearing help to own actually come from houses that are allocated for rent. is there a default position within the 3 years that that same family who have got a need could revert to a rental at all, or is it no? It'll be mortgage default and evicted.
It's in our gift. So the circumstances, and there are at times people's circumstances do change for different reasons. So the way in which the agreement is drafted is that it's 3 years plus 1 plus 1. And then after 5 years, then unfortunately we would be looking to move that individual on, because that may not be the most suitable product for them, because they're not going to be able to own the property because of those circumstances. But I'm the first one to recognise, and the CDL board, that the circumstances change, and we need to have that flexibility in there. And what we don't want is, penalise somebody because their circumstances have changed, but they've got the same objectives. And also, you've got wider issues, haven't you? If we had a repeat of 2008 where the mortgage market just collapsed, you wouldn't want to penalise people because of that, on the basis they are still paying their rent within the property. So from my perspective, we've got the flexibility in the way in which the legal agreements are drafted for different circumstances, but we do tend to cap it at 5 years.
Everyone happy for us to move on now? Okay, so we're now going to move into item 7, which is exclusion of the press and public. So we need to resolve in accordance with the provisions of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act 1972 and paragraph 10.43 of the Council's Access to Information Procedure Rules. The press and public be excluded during consideration of the following item. Is everyone in agreement on that? Yeah. Okay, so we will wait till we're offline.